It's time to paint this thing, and I am delighted that Four Seasons Painting is going to be handling that, both the inside and the outside. Now, the inside and the outside of this paint, I'll say paint in reference to the overall scope of the work that Ron Sharp. I'll introduce you to him after a while. But what he has proposed and what I've asked him to do is to paint this thing inside and out. Under the broad general category of full disclosure, not only am I a lousy painter, like maybe the lousiest painter personally, except for Cy. Cy's worse, let me just say that. But not only am I not good at putting it on, I don't know that much about it. And there is a surprising amount to know about paints. The different bases, oil base, alkali base, latex base, how you deal with temperatures, how you deal with dry time, the different ways to apply it, how in the world you even make a airless paint sprayer work smoothly. There are so many tricks and traps associated with painting that I have just not acquainted myself with it. And that's why I recommend that if you were going to do any painting, you go to the paint store and talk to the people behind the counter, especially if they've worked there, 20 years. This paint is from Sherwin-Williams. Now, the big paint companies have spent a lot of time and a lot of money doing a lot of chemistry to understand what goes on in their cans of paint. And you can probably pretty well trust them as long as you keep in mind that in paint, as in so many other things, you're probably going to get about what you pay for.
Spill on camera.
We're only painting the drywall here today, the walls and ceilings, and it's sort of like eating dessert first and leaving the peas and carrots until the end. Because the real investment of time and detail work will happen when the trim is painted. The doors and casings and baseboard will be their own marathon. Modern latex or acrylic-based paints are going to be your best choice for new surfaces. They apply easily, they wear well, they look great, and more importantly, for most of us, they clean up with water. And let me assert right here that in all cases where appearance and wearability are important, it's a big mistake to buy cheap paint. Because in paint, perhaps more consistently than anywhere else, you usually get what you pay for. So buy the best you can afford. And the same goes for the primer. The primer is important because it's a wetting agent. It weds or bonds to the substrate and then creates a surface that will uniformly bond to the finish coat. Backrolling the paint means to use a sprayer to get the paint on the wall and then use a roller to even it out, to physically push it deep into the nooks and crannies of the texture or any irregularities in the surface. If your painter is not planning on backrolling your walls and ceilings, your painter is not planning on doing a top-notch job. Now, watching these guys do this, it looks kind of fun to apply the nice smooth color in those long, even strokes, doesn't it? It makes you sort of want to pick up that sprayer and take a shot at it. But let me tell you that there is a world of difference between getting the paint on the wall and making it look professional. There's a surprising amount of technique to all of this. You've got to minimize your stops and starts. You've got to maintain a uniform distance from the surface, a uniform rate of travel, a uniform overlap. You got to keep the paint at just the right consistency so the pump works the way it's supposed to. You got to keep track of dry time. And this proves one more time that just because something looks easy does not mean that it is easy. Now, it is sort of counterintuitive, but brand new or first coats of paint come with some challenges. Because sometimes it's easier to get a perfect paint job on a house that already has several coats of paint on the walls. Think of it. There's a solid base built up over time, sort of a super primer. But with new paint on a new house, you're covering the drywall mud and texture for the very first time. So there can be some extra challenges for the painter to get a perfect finish. These young men are focused and skilled at their trade and are not skimping on the paint, so this is going to be a terrific product. I really appreciate Ron and his guys jumping in here and handling the paint on our project, and I can't wait to show you the work that they do on the interior trim and the exterior. My attention is tightly focused on what's happening right now because it's just about to force me to come off the bench. I mean, once these walls are painted, I've got miles of baseboard and case and window jambs and doors to hang and shelf packs to go in closets, and I got to get back to work. Now, yes, I have been working in the blacksmith shop forging the railings for these stairways, and that's great, and you're going to see that, but it's just about time to get out the bags, bring that cordless skill saw, move in a table saw, maybe a jointer, a few finish tools, and start sort of a new chapter in the carpentry aspect of this spec house project. I hope you're enjoying this process of watching this house gradually become more like a home. And as always, thank you for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.